This is one of those videos you don't really see often these days, huh? Just sitting down and talking and having a good chat. Welcome folks! Today we're talking about something, of course, still Zero related, but something that I get asked about quite a lot actually, and I wanted to kind of answer in one go in one video, which is how to start getting involved in tournaments in Vanguard Zero. So with Zero, it's kind of split into two, because of course we have the two servers, English and Japanese, and Japanese already has had a well-established competitive circuit for quite some time now, ever since March basically, so the Majesty Lord Blaster set release. But English, however, does have one official circuit that they support. However, the rest of the stuff is mostly unofficial and hosted by the community for the community. So I'm going to break it down, essentially what you need to know to get involved. Keep in mind that this video is being recorded at the end of May, so if you're watching this, maybe half a year later, things might be a bit different now, especially for the English side. But I'm going to talk about essentially the stuff you can do for the Japanese format and then the stuff you can do for the English format as well. Now, for the Japanese format, it's actually pretty simple. Basically, you have the Vanguard Zero Championship, which the first kind of round of already concluded for the year, but they are doing the Vanguard Zero Championship Summer, which will be its own thing, and it will be entirely separate to the original Vanguard Zero Championship. But now for the summer, Vanguard Zero Championship has another round, and the qualifying, the way to qualify is a bit different this time around. So basically, I think they announced that they're going to be holding 2 qualifying tournaments, if I'm not mistaken, but they haven't given dates for us for these yet. So to find out when they will actually give us dates, and I'm probably going to either mention it in the video or on my Twitter or my Discord. So that's like my immediate link, is you get a lot of this stuff from my Twitter, from my Discord, that I tend to reshare and repost for everyone to see. Now, however, Vanguard Zero Japanese has an official tournament support program that people can apply for, and so to host tournaments, and that way the official developers, they give out the prize packs to the winners, as long as the recording of the final matches is provided, as well as all the details of the tournament, so that they can share it. Now, a website called Gamewith actually has a kind of summary of all the tournaments happening during a certain month, and so I'm going to leave a link to that in the description so you can check it out, and you'll basically see what the upcoming tournaments are for the community, and so you can find the general stuff over there. Generally, Japanese tournaments use a website called Tonamel, and so how this works is that you have to sign up for it, sign up for the website, and then you register, and then you have to fill in stuff like, the deck you're going to be using, your username, your player ID, your friend code, and then sometimes the tournament will ask you if you can communicate in Japanese, and generally if you say no to this, you will probably not be admitted, because they, value the fact that there's no disruptions in the tournament schedule, so you have to, be able to communicate in Japanese, at least at a basic level, and generally, even Google Translate will get you through as long as you're quick enough about it, so, take that as you will, but after you sign up to that, then you have to check in 1 hour before the tournament would start, and then after you've checked in, if you made it into the tournament, you basically have your bracket. So then you'll have you versus a player, and then normally in the kind of manners or actually the rules in Japan is that when you have your pairing, if you're the one, so let's say if the bracket is displayed like this, from top to bottom, if you are the one on top and your opponent is the one on bottom, then the person on top has to make the room for the match actually, so then you'll be the one making it. But if your opponent is on top, then they'll be the one making it. You just say yoroshiku onegaishimasu in the chat, and then just wait for them to post it. Otherwise you have to be the one to post the room ID, and so of course when you click on your match, you're going to be put like a left and a right, and so the person on the left will have to actually basically say the room code for that one. So hopefully that makes sense, but that's just the manners in Japanese, so hopefully to make that easier for you guys to participate in Japanese tournaments. However, to actually get into the Vanguard Zero Championship Summer final round, this time around is actually much easier, because all you need to do is between right now and the end of July, so until the very end of July, in one of the seasons, you need to just come top 50. And if you manage to get top 50, you're automatically invited. And then one day when you log in, you'll get a special message, and you'll get an email probably, in the email they use for Zero, and basically you'll get an invite to that tournament to sign up online. And then basically once you've made it in, then you've made it in, and that's it. And that's really, really great. So basically, that's the easiest way to qualify, is to just get top 50, and of course this is a bit easier in Japanese according to a lot of people. So that kind of wraps it up for the Japanese side. There are also team tournaments that they do and stuff like that are usually hosted by a group called Gamebox, and so they tend to do that as well, and that's just another pointer. Now for English, the only official thing is actually the Ppg Circuit, and so This circuit runs on a schedule where basically during weekdays they do a sort of basically like a weekly tournament every week where you basically get a chance to qualify for the final tournament, and then you also get like gacha tickets that you can use in game. So Bushiroad provides those, of course, in order for you to actually be able to play in those tournaments, or for winning those tournaments. And then after you're invited to that one, you get invited to the Players Championship, where it's like a 32 person invitational, and essentially the first place gets 30 gacha tickets, second place gets 20, third place gets 10, fourth place gets 5, and so it's like a cool invitational where you don't have to pay anything to enter, you just qualify and then you play in it and you can get a bunch of packs. However, they also have their own Weekends Championship, which is actually paid, and so you can see on the schedule you basically have dailies running from Monday to Friday, with the free weekly running alongside the 8-man daily on Tuesdays, and then they have the weekend championship every week on a Saturday. And so this lasts from the middle of May basically all the way until the more or less middle of June. So at the time of making this, you still have plenty of chances to play in these, and so that's honestly the best one. This is the only official one so far, the only officially supported by Bushiroad tournament, which is, the Ppg Circuit. So basically, you can enter into these. Keep in mind the Weekend Championship is paid. You have to pay to enter, but then you get, store credit as your prizes, but then the store credit can be used to buy upcoming products like trial decks, booster boxes, etc. So that's also pretty nice. But if you don't want to do that, then you can just play the dailies and also, qualify for, through the weekly, qualify for the final Players Championship, which is also a pretty nice incentive. We don't know anything for Vanguard Zero Championship in English just yet. There's a chance that if the Ppg Circuit is popular, that they will actually run the Vanguard Zero Championship in English as well, hopefully, because it started in Japan with the release of Set 4, so hopefully when Set 4 comes out in English, we will also get that in English, which will be pretty nice because it is a cool tournament. Then, in terms of other teams that organize things, we saw Vision do the Clash of Kings, which was a content creator invitational with cash prizes, but of course they are actually planning to do a general Zero tournament for everyone to enter very soon, so you'll be able to participate in that as well, most likely next month. They don't have a confirmed date yet, but you should follow Cardfight Vision on Twitch and Twitter, and join their Discord as well, and you will see information for those events from Vision themselves. And they usually run a lot of events for the actual trading card game, and so especially during these tough times where we can't go out and play in card shops, it's especially really appreciated. So their team is honestly doing a lot of great work right now. Now, the other tournaments, which are like the ones that are not done by like organizations, but rather by individuals or like several individuals that like groups and stuff, are basically, they're not so much like kind of focused in one spot, but basically on my Discord, I essentially allow the organizers of those tournaments to promote those events. And so you'll find them when you go to my Discord. There's going to be a partnered _announcements text channel where you can see all of the tournament organizers promoting their events. And whenever it gets close to one of their tournaments, they basically get a chance to just promote it once again, so more people sign up. And they do cash tournaments, they do regular like non-cash tournaments. They don't give out the gacha tickets yet, so right now all they can do is like cash, as well as like Google Play / iTunes cards, so they can buy packs with those. So essentially, you have tournaments where you can get a bunch of cash and also get a bunch of good practice, and the best place to find everything centralized is actually my Discord for now. So I don't normally plug it that much, but do feel free to join it if you want to get involved in the English Vanguard Zero tournament scene, because that's basically where a lot of it is happening. Also, if you are an interested tournament host, feel free to reach out to me on Discord and ask me about this, because I basically give the partnered role to any tournament host that can show me they have the framework and that they have everything prepared for the tournament. And then if you give me like a concrete date, then it's easy for me to tell you, okay, just go ahead and promote. So if you are interested, if you are a tournament organizer, just get in touch with me and I can give you that as well, so you can promote your tournament, because the more players know about it, the more they can practice and the more they can play. So that's always great. And the point of these tournaments and why you should be playing in them if you want to, if you're not satisfied with just playing in ladder, is of course it's a great avenue to practice, get some money out of it, get more cards out of it, more experience out of it, and then when the official circuits do start up, it's going to be pretty great. Because essentially you're gonna be ahead of the curve in terms of tournament play, and it is very different from ladder. So that's something to keep in mind. There's no VP farmers in tournaments, so that's something to also stay aware of. And another thing is that, like, especially with the Japanese game, there's a bunch of different formats. Now, a lot of tournaments do use best of one with one deck. Some tournaments do best of 3 with a single deck, so you play a series of 3 games and whoever gets 2 wins first wins. However, in Japan, we've seen the rise of the Conquest format, and what Conquest format is basically you bring a certain amount of decks, and then you have to win with a certain amount or all of them. So for example, let me give you an example of another card game I really like called Shadowverse. In Shadowverse, in Japan, they are forced to bring 2 decks and they have to win with both of them. So they bring 1 deck, if they win they have to play with the other one. Or if they lose, they can still play with that one until they win, and then they try with the other one. But if they lose 2 times, then they're out. Whereas in the English side for Shadowverse, what they do is they're allowed to bring 3 decks, and your opponent looks at one of those 3s and says, ban that one, so you can play with 2. So basically you still play with 2 decks, but your opponent can see all 3 and choose which one to ban for that round, and you can't play for that round. And now for Vanguard, they did it once again differently in the Vanguard Zero Championship Finals. If you watched the VOD for that, I do recommend watching that. It is on YouTube, where they were allowed to bring 3 decks and pick 2 of them to play with during that round. So basically, you go in with 1 deck, let's say Majesty Lord Blaster, you win with it. Okay, next you can choose between Kagero and Oracle Think Tank, and then you look at what your opponent still has remaining and bring one of those that you feel would be best to counter it. So there's a lot of mind games involved, and generally as online card games progress, this Conquest format is usually employed because you just have more decks usually at your disposal because of the way that virtual card games work. And so it's pretty fun, and like for now it's mostly 1 deck, you know, best of ones, or like single eliminations or Swiss or double eliminations, etc. But and what those means is like just how soon you get eliminated if you keep losing, but I mean if you keep winning it doesn't matter. But the Conquest format is very popular, and I think especially, you know, throughout time there's going to be more and more tournaments using the Conquest format. So for now, just see, you know, join those tournament discords or join the tournaments and see what format they use and just adapt to it. But you always learn some new things, and it's pretty cool. Overall, a good experience, so I definitely do recommend getting involved. Alright, so that's basically going to be it for me today. So you'll find all the links to all the things I've mentioned in the description, and then of course if there's new information for the Vanguard Zero Championship, whether in English or in Japanese, you'll hear from me first, whether on this channel or on my Twitter or on my Discord. So join all those places, follow me in all those places, and you'll definitely get informed first and foremost from me before anyone else, most likely. So yeah, that's going to be basically it for me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.